Testing. Okay. This is part 3 of chapter 4. Next we're going to look at HTML5, the figure and fig caption elements. Notice here we have a figure tag. Then we have the image source. And again, we put the width and height and the alt tag in case it can't be viewed or viewed by people with browsers that may not be able to display images that this will display in this case. Notice also we have a fig caption tag, and this caption is down here at the bottom of this figure. So this is the figure and the fig caption element. Next is a meter value. Here we have a meter tag, we have a value, we have the min and the max. The value is the amount that will show in this particular bar down here. So notice here at 7,000 it's about halfway, and notice it's about halfway here. And then each of the other meter, the value shows how much is displayed, and the min and the max gives this value here, how long the bar is going to be. You know, because you use the progress var. Here we use progress to give it a value and give it a max. And it goes from 0 to the max there. Next we have background images. By default, the background images tile, which means repeat. So notice on this background image it's fairly thin, but it'll repeat all the way down the page as a default. Here we only have one type of color, but again it'll repeat across the page and it'll repeat down the page also. And notice how we access it. We should have all our images in the images folder. So we have the URL images background.gif. Here we can tell it to repeat Y. So notice here we have a small one, it'll just repeat it down the page. If we have an image like this, it'll repeat that down the page. And repeat X, notice it'll repeat it across but not down. So here's a repeat X with that image. No repeat, it'll just put that image and that's it. It won't expand it to fill the background. And here we have a no repeat with this image, it'll just replace here. So using background repeat, here we have the image. We can tell the background no repeat or any of the other ones that we saw in the previous slide. Repeat X or repeat Y. So here's one where we have a background image. We use the images, the trilliumgraded.png file. So notice how it has various shades here. In this one, it's a gradient file. We have a background image, a background. Here we have the trilliumfoot.gif, no repeat, bottom right. So it's going to place it down here, and this is the image, the trilliumfoot.gif file here. All right. So you should be able right now to describe the CSS to configure a graphic named circle.jpg to display once in the background of all H1 elements. And you should be able to code a sample CSS to demonstrate this. You should be able to describe the CSS that configures a file named bg.gif to repeat vertically down the page of a web page. You should be able to code a sample of this. And you should be able to explain how the browser will render the page if you're using CSS to configure both the background image and background color. For this one, when we have a background color, that one will appear first, and then if it loads the background image and it doesn't cover the entire background, then the background color will be shown in that place. Next, we want to look at image maps and some favorite icons and sprites and sources that you can find. Here we're going to look at defining a map element. It defines a map. This map right here that's outlined in this dash box is called a hotspot. So if somebody clicks on this hotspot, it will go to a particular web page. So let's see how we do that. So notice we have a map name, a boat. We give it an ID. No, we have an area reference here. This is the place that we're going to go to, www.fishandorcounty.com. So if we click on this image right here, this is where we're going to be taken. We give the shape a rectangle. Now this could be either a circle or a polygon. Since we're doing a rectangle, here we have the coordinates. This is the upper left corner. This is the bottom right corner. And we have our alt tag for this. That ends our map. Here's our image source. We have a fishingboat.jpg. Notice we have a command use map. And here we have the # boat. That's the map name. Notice in the map name we don't have the #, we have just boat. But to use the map we need to put the # in front of it. Then we have the alt tag for that, and then the width and the height. This is really useful if you have a picture with a bunch of parts in here, like a picture of people, and you want to link to different people's home pages or different people's pages. You could put a circle around each person's face, so that way when they put the cursor on it, it'll go to that particular person's page. That's the more useful parts of map. Here I would just map the whole image, but if you want to map portion of the image, you can do that. When you open up some websites, you'll see an icon over here. It's a square icon associated with a web page that it loads. It's usually named favicon.ico and may display in the browser address bar, tab, or favorite bookmarked list. So display here. Configure with the link tag. So we have link, relative icon, href, give it the icon name, and it's going to be in the images, and it's called X icon. CSS sprites. A sprite is an image file that contains multiple small graphics that are configured as background images for various web page elements. It's a modern technique to optimize use of multiple icon or small images. It saves overhead by reducing the number of HTTP requests made by the browsers, and we'll use these in Chapter 7. That's the last chapter we're going to cover this semester.